Hello, and welcome, my friends, to the next video in the Create Better Content series where I show you how to tap into your creativity so that you can stay consistent with your marketing and reach more customers. My name is Penny, and I'm going to be your guide through this content development process. I want to teach you how to create engaging content to post on social media, email sequences, sales pages, all of those things that you use in your marketing to help you reach more qualified customers. And if you want to learn more about creativity and how this can help you develop your content marketing plans, I would love to see you hit that button below and subscribe to this channel. And below in the description box are several links. One of the links that you'll see is for the Content Calendar Blueprint program. This is an email-based training. And basically what it's going to do is it's going to guide you through developing your content calendar. And it's going to do more than just show you how to set up the calendar. It's going to take you through the steps to develop a content strategy so that you can develop the content that goes into your content calendar. Another link that you're going to see is that you can subscribe to the Marketing Strategy Collective program. This is my group program on Patreon where we meet together every month. You get strategy workbooks. You get the help and the support that you need so that you can develop remarkable content. And you can do it in a supportive group online space. So you see the links below and you know what to do to learn more. All right, so today, what I want to do today is I want to give you a full-on, behind-the-scenes look at how you can take one core piece of content and stretch it into multiple pieces that can work across different platforms. Now, what I'm talking about here is not reposting. Reposting is me just copying and pasting and using the same image and the same, the copy, the same content and everything. That's reposting. What we're talking about is repurposing. And when we do this correctly, it allows you to continue to develop content without feeling like you have to start from scratch with every single piece. And that's the thing that leads to that burnout, that overwhelm, that thing that happens to us when we start to feel like we're just, I can't do this anymore, and then we start to back out of our marketing. So this idea about doing repurposing is really here because I don't think that you always need to create a new piece of content every day. But what I'd like you to start doing is to think about how you can do more with what you already have. And that's the true thing, the true foundation of doing repurposing. Because here's the truth, and I can speak to this from me personally because I am a small business owner like yourself. I think a lot of small business owners and marketing managers, for that matter, are just you're just like sitting on a gold mine of content. It's in your box, it's in your folders, it's in your cloud, it's in your all the places and spaces that you keep everything. And all of this information that you already researched, that you already created, that you spent time and energy in, can be turned into emails, carousel posts, reels, or even take something and turn it into, a training workshop. Because here's the thing. When people aren't, looking at everything as gosh, let me start that sentence over again. Because a piece of content that you've created, especially if it's a really good piece of content, let's say you've put it into a blog post and somebody reads it. Are they going to keep going back and reading it again and again and again unless it's just this amazing piece of content that's taking them through the specific steps of something? Chances are they're going to read it and they're going to get something from it and they're going to go, oh, that was really good. And maybe they'll follow you on your email list, or maybe they'll start following on one of your social platforms. But it doesn't do anything else other than that. So that's what I want to talk about today, because I want to share with you this process of how to take one piece of your core content and turn it into other pieces of content that you can start sharing in other platforms, but how to repurpose this and do it with intention and strategy to make sure that what you're sharing is going to be aligned with your business goals and making sure to help you sell, to help you grow your list, whatever it is that your business goals are. So let's talk about this. So let me start with this one core piece, and I'm gonna tell you the story, my little backstory here. I'm gonna start with this one core piece and what I can do with this. I actually have, this is a real thing. If you go to my website, you will see there is a blog post called 15 Marketing Things You Can Do in 15 Minutes. And as a matter of fact, it actually started out with 10 marketing things you can do in 15 minutes. And it was such a big traffic driver. Every single month, it is one of the top landing pages that when I check my Google Analytics, people are going to it. And it was such a big push of traffic to my website that's when I changed it into 15 marketing things. So then I created 5 more ideas that turned into a lead magnet, which could help you go on my list, because the way I was looking at it was it's already generating a lot of traffic, to my website. How can I build on this traffic? So what I wanted to do was, one of my goals is to grow my email list. So I turned it into 15 marketing things. So this is the starting point. It is a post that I know has gotten good engagement. It is a post that I know that has resonated with people. It is a post that I know that, that's going to help people, because basically what it's doing is it's giving you a tiny little things that you can do in 15 minutes to help you keep your visible even when your life gets crazy. So when I take a look at this core piece of content, I ask myself, what's the core idea here? What are the questions that people asked in the comments? Where can this message go to next? So my core idea is based upon productivity, and it's based upon marketing. So it's being productive in your marketing. It's those moments when we have, just a few minutes that we want to get something done, but it's not enough time to write a blog post or to create a whole video. That was the core idea, was to give you ideas to make sure that you were staying out there and keeping visible and doing things with your social media that wasn't going to be taking hours and hours of time. So let's break this down and how I turn this one piece of content into 5 different pieces of content. So how it looks. So the first thing I can do is I could take that blog post and I can repurpose this on LinkedIn. Now what I can do is I can reframe the message, and instead of me talking about 15 pieces, 15 things that you can do, I can focus on one of those things. I can actually focus, because one of the things that I had put on there was what you could be doing on LinkedIn. So my post that I could put on LinkedIn could focus on that one specific tip that I gave you in the blog post about LinkedIn, and that would be the angle, because I'm not talking about all 15. I'm really honing in on what I talked about with LinkedIn. And I could add a personal story. I could end my post with questions, has this happened to you, or have you been able to do something like that? Or if you had 15 minutes of your time, is this something that you would do, just to boost that type of engagement? So I could repurpose this blog post on LinkedIn by just doing that one piece of that one tip right there. My second piece of content that I can convert this in is I could turn this into an email newsletter. I could talk about how crazy busy it is being a business owner, and all the different hats that we wear. And sometimes it feels like there's all these things on our list and we just can't get to them. But I have discovered a few things that you can do that, when, even if you have small pieces of time, like in between a meeting, or maybe you've got like a half hour left, here's a few things that you can do so that that you're staying visible with your social media and that you're getting your marketing messages out there. So I could turn it into a story like that. And then I could do the call to action, which would be to link people to read the rest of the blog post. I could, promote my lead magnet. Even though these people are already on my list, it never hurts to give them one more piece of valuable educational thing that they could use. So I would promote the email. I would promote the blog post in the email. I would promote the lead magnet to give them 5 extra things. And so I could turn it around like that. Okay. Content number 3, a short form video or a reel. Now, what we're going to do with this is we're going to find a way to bring more of our personality into it, because as a reel, as a video, that's when we've got our voice, that's when we've got our, our physical appearance. They are connecting with us as a person. So instead of me sitting here and just reading the things off of my blog post, which would be a really easy thing to do on a blog, a short form video, is it really showing my personality? Am I engaging with the potential customers on this particular platform the way that they are using the platform? And that's an important piece here. I could just sit here and read the blog post, but that's not how people are engaging when they're watching a video, when they're watching a reel. Whether it's a TikTok video, whether it's an Instagram reel, people are engaging in this content a whole lot differently than they are when they're just trying to read a blog post. So what I could do is I could focus on one of the tips in it. I could focus on, I could talk specifically about posting. I could talk specifically about how the productivity of it is going to help my time. I could, think about how I could deliver this visually too, because I've got captions, I've got, visual images that I could utilize, and I can add that instead of me just reading the blog post. So what we're thinking about doing is, as we're moving these into different pieces, it's important to think about how a person is utilizing that particular platform, and how we will transform this piece of content into the way that people are using that platform. All right, so what's a fourth thing we could do is we could go on Instagram and create a carousel post, those slides that we could do. And each slide could focus on one of the things. Now, I've got 15 things on my blog post. I certainly don't want to have 15 slides, because I believe I'm going to lose people's attention after that. I think when we get to like slide 6 or something like that, maybe 7, we start to lose their attention. So I'm not going to put all 15 of them on there. But what I would do is I would think about, what would I focus on? Let's see, I'm talking about productivity. I'm talking about being visible. So I would create the first slide that has some sort of emotional hook on it. Does it feel like you have 20,000 things to do and only 10 minutes to do them in? Yeah, same here. Something like that, where people are like, oh, yeah, that's me. And then I could put in there, click through so that you can see a few things that you can do when you just have a tiny bit of time. And then I could just pull out some of the top things, something that's really unique that people haven't heard, a really good tip that people haven't, hearing in 20,000 places, so that it brings a uniqueness to my post, so that it gets people to want to read the rest of them. Because if I'm saying the same tips over and over again that everybody else is saying, I'm going to lose people. So I want to be very cautious and be very purposeful with the type of content that I'm going to put into those slides, because I want to make sure that people are going to be still engaging. And then the last slide could always be, save this post, share it with another small business owner, click here to read the entire blog post. Those are the types of things that we could use on the Instagram carousel. All right, so the fifth thing now, I could always and forever, because I'm such a Pinterest person, don't forget to put it on Pinterest, especially if you are an active Pinterest user. We should be putting all of our blog posts, all of our lead magnets, all of our training programs, all of our things that we are doing on Pinterest. So your fifth idea is to create a Pinterest. So I could do like a 5 frames, because you can still do these the sequence things, kind of like a carousel, but you can do something like that on Pinterest to give people each tip, a few of those tips. Or you can do a really great image about productivity, and make sure that your hook and your angle is right there in writing in the middle of it, so that when we're scrolling through Pinterest, your text pops out, your image pops out. So, and of course, we're going to link it back to the blog post that expands on all of these ideas, but it's another way to reach more people with this blog post. So those are 5 different things that I can do to repurpose my one piece of content. And the reason that this works is because it wasn't about me having 5 different ideas that I'm sharing. It was about the fact that I'm taking one strong message about being productive, about staying visible, and here are tips to do those in, and I'm shaping it, and I'm creating it, and I'm transforming it in the platform of how people are using it. It's that whole adage of how we meet people where they are. That's what we're doing with repurposing, because it's not about copying and pasting. It's about translating that core part of our message into the format that fits the platform of the person who's reading it, who's watching the video, who's clicking on the Pinterest pin, all of those types of things. And that's what repurposing is about. And it's really, here's the thing. It's really interesting now, once you start understanding what repurposing is, because we've all copied and pasted. I'm just as guilty as you. And when I started to understand what repurposing was, it was this amazing light bulb that went off into my head. And now that you see it like this too, I promise you, you are never going to look at your content the same way again, because you're going to start creating content in the idea of repurposing it. If you can start with this place of knowing that this is going to be a core piece of content, and already going into it as you're creating this piece of content, thinking about how you can repurpose that blog post, that video, that email, that podcast episode, all of those things that you did such an amazing job on, or got really great feedback on, or the engagement, you're able to think to yourself, where else can I share this? What is another angle? What is another hook? What's another piece of this that I can pull in, that I can rework and transform into the different platforms? How can I tell this story visually? How can I tell this story with my voice on a video, or on a reel or a TikTok or whatever we're using? I want you to think about it from that place, because that is the whole thing when we're talking about when people say how to work smarter, not harder. That's what repurposing is. It's about being smarter. When we think about going through this process of developing our content, it's not just one piece of content and then we go on to the next piece of content and next piece of content and next piece of content. But when we do this type of repurposing and doing it strategically like this, it's actually getting more miles out of it. It allows our core message to go further, and it starts helping us develop like a content library, and it allows us to have pieces that we can pull from. And especially if it's something that's an evergreen piece of content that maybe 3 months down the road we can reuse it again, we can reshare that blog post, we can reshare that video, because we've done all the work on it already. It's this whole strategy. It's really what it is. I keep saying the word strategy over and over again, because that's really what it comes down to. It's the idea of doing more than just copying and pasting it, because doing the actual act of repurposing it's like a creative act. It's how you can creatively share your best ideas and make sure that they're not going to disappear after one post, one published, one scheduled event. You know what I mean? So if we take it from that place, and I want you to think about it too. I want you to think about the core pieces of content. I want you to think about how you can transform that one piece into 5 pieces. And maybe you're not on all of those networks, all of those platforms, but you can fill in the blank. You can replace Pinterest with Facebook. You could replace, a video with Twitter. You could replace all of these with other programs and platforms, as long as you are applying the basic ideas of repurposing and making sure that you are reframing it and transforming it into the way that people are using that platform. So I want you to think about how you can start a repurposing type of strategy into your marketing mix, because I believe that when you get to this place, you will find yourself not in that mindset, that panic posting mindset where you feel like you're having to chase new ideas every week, and you will start building a content development system that not only helps your marketing work smarter, but helps you grow your reach to reach more customers. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you feel like this episode started to help you think about your marketing differently, I would love to see you give this a like and share it with some of your fellow business owners. And make sure that you subscribe to this channel. And if you need some help mapping this whole thing out and understanding how to repurpose things, how to repurpose your content, and how to turn one piece into 5 pieces, this month in the Marketing Strategy Collective, our strategy workbook actually takes you through this process step by step. I'm giving you prompts, I'm giving you planning pages, and real examples just like the one I shared with today. So join us in the Marketing Strategy Collective. We are working through exactly how to build a repeatable content repurposing system that's going to save your sanity when it comes to your marketing. So the links are below so that you can learn how to join us at the Marketing Strategy Collective and stop working in a solo bubble and learn what it's like to be in a collaborative space to get the help that your marketing needs. Because you are magnificent, my friend. And let me be the first to say, I'm proud of you. Until next time.